We're joined this year at the conference by Geraldine Slattery, President, Operations Petroleum for BHP. Geraldine, BHP has a unique portfolio among the companies here with major operations in oil and gas alongside metals and other commodities. And so first, what is the role of petroleum within that BHP portfolio?
Morning, Noah. So let me start with just a few words on the BHP strategy, which at its simplest is focused on three things. We believe we can deliver the best returns and the value to our shareholders through being in commodities with attractive supply and demand fundamentals, through having great assets and having the right capabilities to get the most out of those assets. And we do that in a way that's very capitally competitive. We're very capitally focused and disciplined at BHP. When you look at petroleum in that lens, we're an integral part of the portfolio. And indeed, together with our copper business, petroleum is actually a growth pillar. And why is that? It's based on our view of the positive growth trajectory in oil and in gas. It's based on our ability to build great assets, both through exploration and through production. And it's in our capabilities to get the most out of those in a way that's very capitally competitive.
Excellent. And the energy transition has taken center stage at this year's conference and really in the public forum as well. How does BHP's portfolio fit with the energy transition, and how are you looking at an energy transition strategy?
At BHP, we have long recognized the changing demand profile for our commodities. And so we think about the energy transition from a number of perspectives. First, from a portfolio perspective, we recognize the growing energy demand from a growing population and increased urbanization, and we see that playing out in increased demand for oil and for gas. We also, however, see in all scenarios a continued growth of renewables, and so our copper and our iron ore business feed directly into that, whether it's wind turbines, whether it's electric vehicles, or battery storage. So from a portfolio perspective, we have exposure to both sides of changing demand for commodities. Equally, however, we recognize the need to limit the effects of climate change and to advance low-emission technologies. And so we do that through partnering with research and with technology companies in advancing low-emission technologies, and also in advancing things like carbon capture and storage, looking at the effects, things like coastal erosion. And so we look at it both in terms of mitigation and from a portfolio perspective.
And now London has been, I guess we could say, filled with climate protesters over this past week, and increasingly that debate over climate has become quite polarized. And how, I guess, do you think that strategy might be received by the protesters that we're seeing outside around the city today?
I'd like to think that in time we can actually come together to have this debate. We have long recognized the need to continue to provide affordable and reliable energy sources as people seek to build better lives. And we also recognize the need to limit the damage from those commodities and materials. And we think it will actually take all of us, whether it's the consumers, whether it's the suppliers, whether it's government, whether it's academia, to come together and pool our ideas on whether it's policy instruments, market instruments, technology instruments, so that we can collectively address the challenge. It's not a singular challenge, it's a systemic challenge that we need to address the inevitable trade-offs within that.
Thank you very much for joining us at this year's conference, Geraldine. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.